During the production stage for the Sega Dreamcast's release, there was a series of small hang-ups in each release district. Japan's launch was delayed due to a shortage of manufactured chipsets. Australia had a setback when customs officials detained the entire console shipment after deciding its country of origin was not sufficiently labeled. In America, the big deal was a weirdly heated spat with major video game publisher Electronic Arts. Their head of creative, a man named Bing Gordon, accused Sega of flip-flopping, saying EA's developers didn't want to work on Sega's new hardware, and said Sega, quote, wasn't acting like a competent company, end quote. He also made sure to add that Sega couldn't afford EA's license, which I'm sure had nothing to do with Sega turning down EA's offer to be the exclusive sports game developer for the system, since Sega had just spent $10 million purchasing the company Visual Concepts to develop their own in-house sports games. So the preeminent football brand, EA's Madden NFL series, would not appear in any way on the Sega Dreamcast. In the last few decades of Madden exclusivity, that series has become sort of the Marvel Studios of sports games, rarely making games that go above and beyond, but at least deliver a consistently serviceable product. In the late 90s, the football landscape below Madden was all over the place. You could stop at the rental store for a football sim and come up with something pretty good. Or something not so good. It was a complete crapshoot. The Dreamcast counted 2 football games among its 19 launch titles. One, the ludicrous, over-the-top NFL Blitz 2000, and one more sober and realistic, Visual Concepts' flagship debut as Sega Sports, NFL 2K. Now, you may think 20-plus straight seasons with new Madden games each and every year may have dulled the impact of the footage you're seeing from being eye-poppingly impressive, but oddly enough, a common theme among the reviews at the time was that NFL 2K didn't do any one thing distinctly revolutionary. It just did absolutely everything exceedingly well, bringing together a package that had never been so consistently good before, while also looking great. Madden was the king because they had good controls, but their character models, while acceptable, were fairly boxy and jagged. The Quarterback Club series had honestly pretty nice visuals, especially on the player models, but those games played like dog shit and suckered me in multiple times in middle school for a weekend rental. NFL 2K was visually refined, with character models more complex and detailed than Madden's players, but also offered excellent, responsive gameplay, as well as an aesthetic presentation that felt more like watching televised football than any previous game had been. Football games, like the sport itself, live and die with the accuracy of its individual pieces. And in every way, NFL 2K shines. The collision detection is quite good, the passing is responsive, the animation is fluid. Historically, defense in football games has never been my favorite thing, but the timing here feels responsive, so tapping the button at the right time will actually allow you to disrupt the pass or get interceptions. As far as modes, there's nothing too out of the ordinary here. The wildest innovation here is actually in play calling. The Dreamcast had a memory card that could function as its own freestanding little Tamagotchi machine. with a screen and buttons and everything. And although few games really came up with a lot of meaningful things to do with it, NFL 2K attempted to use it to assuage that age-old sports game quandary. Your bum-ass friend sneaking a peek at whatever play you called. Instead, on multiplayer games of NFL 2K, the play calling was available entirely through the little VMU card screen on the controller, so you could pick plays in peace, and your looky-loo pals were none the wiser. In practice, it's pretty limited and hard to read, but it's a fun attempt at innovation and showed the spirit of boundary pushing that would carry over to the franchise's subsequent games. We will see 2 more NFL 2K games during the Dreamcast's lifespan. But after that, only 3 more installments total came out before Madden got the monopoly. And there's been 0 official NFL games outside the Madden umbrella since 2004's ESPN NFL 2K5. Those Maddens do a lot of things well, but in the last few decades, they've really plateaued into mostly just annual roster updates with minor graphical tweaks. And it's hard not to feel robbed of the rising tide floating all boats that the NFL 2K series could have been. Pushing Madden to be better, and making innovations and crazy ideas on their own as the series went. NFL 2K was a huge step forward for video game football, and that it still holds up so well today is a big compliment to the Visual Concepts team, who were better for Madden's absence. Up next, y'all wanna go fast?